Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another very awkward scene for Living World of Darkness, right across New York, um, where after a few days of barely coming out of actually Jacob's Den, Atlantahine is calling out again. Um, she knows she's really not feeling. She knows that this punishment, right, is still on her, and she a little hesitant about this, but she also knows that she has to go and talk to Fiona people, and she doesn't want to seem like she is ignoring a part of her punishment. So in her hand, she actually holds like a thread that she wove herself that contain or has several bells hanging onto them. Um, and yeah, she'll slowly, like, if she sees anyone, well, in folk especially, of course, she's always avoided them, but if she sees any other Garou, then she will kind of try to avoid them. And she slowly goes over to the Seeker's cabin, really hoping that, like, 10 Point's the only one there, but she's not sure, so she'll slowly get up on the porch, looking around. There's no Bailey in there, which is good. And finally knock on the door.
She knocks on the door, okay. Aiden will get up from his pile just of booze that he had been drinking, celebrating, becoming Fostern, but he'll get up slowly, moving quite artificially. He's assuming it's probably fucking 10 Point, wanting something, or something's gone on, or someone's done something. So he'll open the door with she'll even hear a sigh as he's opening the door. What is it now? And he'll kind of like look. Like hold the door open, you know what I mean? Evening, Yoff.
Hello, Raya. She'll kind of stumble back as she really hoped to not see, well, this individual, and will basically just roll over. You can hear the tingling of the bells as she does so.
And 10 Point will be emerging slowly from under the porch, of all places. And and one can readily hear her, there's various, like, dead leaves and whatnot around on the ground, so she can be heard emerging.
Aiden kind of yawns, and they'll kind of look at 10 Point with the kind of raised eyebrows, like, oh, here we go. You know what I mean? He'll kind of look at her. Have you had any business here then?
I came to repay the bells that we used for Chimnich for 10 Point, Raya.
Okay. You kind of like nod. Don't mind me then. You close the door and we'll walk over to where the chairs are, and we'll be lighting himself a cigarette, basically. Plonking himself down.
Oh, that's a good thing that he closes the door, because Latin could feel the urge to speak, and she was like trying to hold back, but her mouth kind of opens up, and to the now luckily closed door, she'll say, I really love you as a brother, and I felt really bad for making a wrong decision, but I hate you so much because you left us.
You realize he's out on the porch with us, right?
What? No,
Yeah.
he was inside.
He came out to take a smoke break.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, I said I closed the door and walked
I
over
thought
to the
you closed
chairs.
the door
Yeah.
and then went back inside
No,
because you
no,
said,
no,
oh,
not at all. No, not at all.
Oh no!
Not at all.
Fine.
No. Oh. Okay.
10 Point is so interested in her own hands right now.
There's like literally like as she's saying this, he's like he wasn't half paying attention basically. So he's lighting a cigarette and he hears this and he kind of like just the head kind of just turns.
She's cringing on the floor right now.
What was that?
The truth, Raya.
Repeat what you said.
Oh, please.
Repeat what you said.
She's trying to hold back, but yeah, she doesn't really have the willpower to really hold back. So she's trying to desperately to hold this back, but it comes out again, and she repeats, "I still love you like a brother, and I didn't want you to leave our pack, and I messed up, and I didn't know how to say sorry properly. And then you betrayed us, and I hate you because of that, but I still love you." And she's biting her lower lip like really hard after that.
For what it's worth, 10 Point will have kind of a plaintive expression on her face as she kind of dares a glance up at Aiden, and then she'll come up and take a very similar position right alongside Talate because, well, she hasn't been bit up yet, and 10 Point's in the presence of two Rayas herself. It only suits.
Is this some sort of is this more of your pack's antics?
She shakes her head like she's probably in kind of a fetal position. Is just shaking her head. Raya.
Should I roll something to know about that, right? Or is that fairly common knowledge?
It was howled by the truth catcher.
Okay, fair enough. And it's right of the
So-
jackdaw, right?
Jackdaw. Yeah.
So yeah, while she's shaking her head and kind of curling up into the tiniest of tiny balls, 10 Point will volunteer from next to her. Raya, the right of the jackdaw compels one to speak the truth, particularly if it is a truth you would rather not speak.
Nods once. I say. Well, you're here to deliver something. Deliver it.
Yes, Raya. She kind of uncurls. Her cheeks are on fire. They're so red right now. She's trying very hard to not cry. She'll hand over the 2 strings of bells to 10 Point. 10 Point, Raya. Here, your bells.
And all things considered, 10 Point is not going to protest the Raya because right now Talate is obviously in dire straits already. So she accepts them, and while she doesn't have anything like a pitying expression, she does have a bit of a sympathetic one, at least for that initial half second. But yeah, she'll take the bells and nod her thanks kind of awkwardly because she's laying on the ground, but we'll go ahead and promptly, we'll actually take a second to look because this isn't just, a piece of cord that's been bought and had a couple bells strung on it, which is probably what her initial stuff was. This is actually, had some care and craftsmanship put into it. So she'll actually take them and regard them for a second, and God help her, she actually lets the corner of her lip go up a little bit, but she'll go ahead and promptly set to tying them around her antlers, which by now are present once more if fuzz covered, all velvety and whatnot.
Yep, Platin is not left the floor. So it's kind of awkward handover from one person on the floor to the other person on the floor. But yeah.
he just lights a cigarette and just, sits there. You can see visibly his hands are shaking, but he's obviously trying to stay where he is. You can get the impression if I stay exactly where I am, I won't get any more mad, basically.
So he is pointedly trying to be distracted at the moment with his cigarette.
You can at 10 knows he's like sitting there, like standing there, and he will say very through gritted teeth, ripples have effect on all of us, Clatahine. Things went out of our control for both ways and both parties. That's all I have to say on it.
She's still kind of biting her lips, but she'll nod.
He will kind of look at 10 like, get over here. I need something to fucking take my stress relief. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, she'll catch the glance, though she will enable in the most passive way she can by asking conversationally as she, just before she rouses up, actually. Was there anything else then that you needed to deliver or say?
I need to offer you my services, Rias.
Yes, that. I don't want to cause any more trouble. And kind of looks at 10 between the packs. We were hoping, would you be able to provide peace between our kinfolk and yours and make it easier for both parties? Now, I understand you're a metis and you have the right thought of not going near kinfolk, but perhaps if you could arrange the facilitation of such a thing, that would be acceptable in my eyes.
And as 10 has kind of gotten up and kind of slunk over. She hasn't gotten up to full height, and we'll go ahead and slip over well into Aiden's reach and probably kind of just crouch or kneel down under his free hand on whichever side that happens to be.
Oh, yeah, immediately the hand goes on the head and just begins to squeeze, basically, because he's trying to keep that rage in.
It would be good to know that however much of the tension could be dispelled was knowing that our kin are at peace, regardless of how you have to go about it. I feel that it is as much a service to you and yours as it is to us and ours.
She looks upset. Not to the point, because the way it was told to her is not like a way that she would immediately take rage from, but she looks like she might like topple it over, you know? It's I who have to deliver the service, not my sister.
Are you not capable of facilitating something?
I'm a Metis, Raya.
You may be a Metis, but you're also a Fostern and a Wendigo. You're not capable of that. This place is kinder to your people than it would be, say, in Chicago or in
10 is
Silvertown.
going to try to kind of distract him mid-sentence a bit. Her head shifts. It actually
he kind of stops.
it shifts a little lower, almost as if she's trying to get out of the grasp, just to kind of distract him back to that and away from talking.
He just wrenches and he kind of basically says, and he kind of bite down. And what I'm trying to say is, it does not matter how you do it, as long as we know that you have been the main facilitator in whatever mean you deem fit, worthy of a pull metis. We, as a pack, are happy. Pull, you know?
She looks at pulling and tries to bite her lips harder and harder. You can obviously see that she's trying to stop whatever she is about to say because she doesn't know what's going to come out of her mouth. Then
Perhaps, Raya, if it is something that she feels is not a great enough service, she can still speak to her sister. Talatahine, are there any talents, perhaps, that you are able to teach me, that you have learned since the last time? I know before you were unable.
I'm so jealous of you, 10 points. Because your pack knows how to treat a metis.
Aiden, Aiden doesn't laugh. That's his player. Aiden is kind of just like raises an eyebrow, like the fuck, you know what I mean? Initially, for a split second, I'm kind of look at 10 point like, well, that is.
She's pulling her hair right now. Like, fuck.
Anyway, moving on from that.
Thank you, Raya. I'm not sure if I can teach you the talents that I know how to make. One of them is specifically, it's been specifically told to me by the right master that I can only teach it to someone who is worthy of such a thing.
There's a squeeze. Like I mean, like you can feel his nails digging 10 point skull.
No, her jaw locks a bit each time that he's either squeezing or if he's like pulling on her hair or whatever. Anytime he gets a little more violent with it, she just locks her jaw and kind of braces. But she's doing her thing. It's an outlet.
You just hear worthy.
Raya, I am still Metis. And if she
So
had
am
to
I.
do something to earn it, then perhaps I would have to do a similar task to earn it.
It's fair.
It was a match. A game in a labyrinth. It ended with meeting a sphinx and solving a riddle. I need to think on things. I might be able to teach you how to make nightshades, but I'm not sure if I can teach you the moonshine.
That is fair. Any new Talon, however, is a boon to my pack and would be a service to all of us. If you need time to think of what you may teach and...
I can't teach now, not while I'm like this.
That's fair.
When you're ready, she said. Yuff.
Yes, Raya.
And if you do that, well, we will graciously accept. As I said, whatever makes things easier for everybody. Pull.
I also have to talk to the other Fiona. Raya.
If you would like, I will be meeting with Saoirse soon. I could perhaps coincide the agreement so we agree on the same thing. If you would like me to do that.
Raya, what you do and what you do not do is not appropriate for me to tell.
It is appropriate for both of these things to go on well, so we all need to be on the same page if we're to humbly accept kinfolk and whatever offers you have to give to the Shadowrunners you may, but our main priority is the kin's peace.
I will see what I can do, Raya.
That is all we ask.
With your permission, can I go now?
You can do whatever you want. Fostering as he gets up, releasing the vice-like grip on 10 Point's hair, basically, and we'll go over, or walking away, lighting a cigarette, like grumbling under his breath, basically.
Yeah. And once 10 Point is released, she'll give her head a little bit of a shake to loosen up the hair that's been, vice gripped for a good minute or a couple now, and kind of shoot Tuate that whole, probably a fairly familiar kind of you might want to get while the getting's good glance, seeing as that was, in a way, yeah, it was permission to go. It was an instruction to go, but it was enough.
Yeah, she like basically as soon as he said yeah, basic kind of like you can leave. She runs off muttering something as she runs away, and then as she's kind of like off the porch and a good few paces away, she will look back at 10 Points because she has some room to speak again. I would like to talk to you about some of the elemental spirits later if you have time. You have more experience with them than I have, Raya. And with that, she'll immediately run off again.
Yeah, she might catch that first like half a nod, but seeing as she's hurrying off, she probably won't get the whole thing. And yeah, when she's gone, 10 Point will ease back over again, kind of just passively putting herself in reach.
Aiden just takes a long breath. There you go. I was nice.
You were certainly better, Raya.
He just nods to himself. Like I said, I'll obey Banshee and keep me nice. It's just hard watching her come towards me. That's all. Nothing to worry about. And he gives that the smile, you know what I mean? As he like slaps, like bam, across the back of 10 Point's head. I'm gonna get a drink.
And she probably wasn't braced for a good clap across the back of the head, so she'll kind of lurch forward. But as he heads inside for his drink, she'll just kind of set up on the porch just in case.
And Aiden just goes in, slams the door closed, and lets out several swear, "Fuck you, you fucking," you know what I mean? As he's pouring a drink, as he can finally say it now that she's gone, basically. So yeah, I think that's Aiden for this scene.
So endearing.
And I guess we can end the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, players, for playing, and thank you, watchers, for watching. This was another scene for Living World of Darkness. Bye.